Alright, so good body position, comfortable breathing pattern, head is staying low as you turn and breathe, so that's good. Extension is pretty good, might be able to get a little better, could be some flexibility. Your left hand, you'll see it better when I camera from the front, but your left hand sort of extends more in front of your head. You want that to be extending in front of your shoulders. Kick is relaxed and seems to be timed well with your strokes. So I can see, you're swimming, very comfortably. I can see underwater, and you'll see it better with the underwater portion, that you have what we would call a straight arm style of swimming for the most part. And that means that your hand and forearm do not go vertical early in the stroke. And so what happens there is you have, at the beginning of the stroke, the first third, you have water being pushed sort of down instead of back. So if you can make that change, it'll add more thrust to your stroke. Alright, and then here we look at rotation and how your lower body stays in line with your upper body. So your lower body staying in a pretty perfect line of your upper body, that's good. That means there's not excessive twisting going on or anything. Rotation looks pretty good. You can see your kick just breaking the surface of the water, which is where you want to be. And then here, so watching your hands enter and extend, so your hands are just slightly in front of your head. You want to shift those off to the side at just a couple inches so that your hands are extending in front of your shoulders. The reason being, when you start to pull, you want... So underwater, we're looking at body position as well as the stroke style. And like we discussed, you're mostly at this point straight arm style of pull. And the goal is to get to that early vertical forearm or high elbow catch. It's the same on both sides, really. So you're even, that's good. So you want to do even development towards that high elbow. Body position is fine. If you look down a little, it might keep your hips and legs up just slightly higher, but not really something I'd be too worried about. And I'm looking at your hand position, and so your hands might turn in a little early as you're finishing the stroke. That's something that we didn't talk much about, but the push phase of the stroke, if you keep your hand flat to the back wall, you might get a little more at the very end of the stroke, and you're doing pretty good. I mean, I might be nitpicking a little bit. So really, your streamline, your body position, everything is good. So it's really just getting the high elbow catch, early vertical forearm. Here you see the path of your stroke, so you're pretty much pulling straight back. That's what you want to do. All right, so we talked about extending more, which you can see you're doing well here right away. We talked about where the hands are extending to, as you don't want them extending in front of your head. You want them at the 11 and 1 o'clock position or in front of your shoulders at the apex of your reach. So this is much better. It's a much better reach, and I think this by itself probably lifted up your hips slightly. It's the same thing, just focusing on a nice long extension. So I think you're actually swimming faster here. What happens is, as you improve your extension, you get two accidental things. You just catch more water, and then the opposite hand or opposite arm actually winds up pushing through a little further just because of the timing of the stroke. So it's two happy accidents, really. But yeah, this is great. All right, so here, focusing really on where your hands are entering and reaching, so that you're not reaching in front of your head. The sort of key is, does your hand break the line right in front of your corresponding eye? If you see your hand in front of your left hand in front of your left eye, then it's a little too far in. See your right in front of your right eye, same thing. And so this is where it's okay to look up some so you can see what's going on. So some of these, more so on the left, that hand wants to reach in a bit. I'm going to capture this from the front. All right, so looking at the hand position. Yeah, that left more so than the right. You want this actually to be entering a little about hand entry point, just trying to get you to, the hand doesn't enter in front of the head at all. That's good on the right. That was pretty good on the left. So that left one just comes in slightly, right there. So doing the best we can here to improve vertical forearm or high elbow catch. So for this one, you can go a little more mechanically and think like step 1, step 2, step 3. I'm gonna have you use the pull buoy on the next one and really slow it down. Don't be afraid to all right, getting some of it. So you might have a little more of a elbow slip going on here where your elbow's coming back. That can happen as you start to train this. All right, so gave you the pull buoy and try to slow it down and think about step 1, step 2, step 3. So reach. There you go, right there. That was a good one. Good. Got some of it there. Couple that we're getting it. So you want to go from a couple on each side. You got a couple good ones in there.
There are 1 or 2 where it popped in and then I can do it again.
Yeah.
So I'm still supposed to get the reach and then turn it in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, so, yeah, your elbow is starting to slip on this right side. That was good. That was okay. That was good. That one is okay. That was a slip. That was better. That was a little bit of a slip. That last one was okay. So, yeah, So doing one arm drill, this is where you can really focus on the vertical forearm aspect. This one, dog paddle drill and fist with paddle, which you do after this. And so here, what was going on with your right was that you were developing a little bit of an elbow slip. That happens a lot when people are starting to try to work on the vertical forearm position. The initiation of this position is really with the shoulder involvement. So you want to reach as far as you can and then shrug or internally roll your shoulder, which kind of pivots your elbow up and out. And then your hand and forearm will go vertical in the stroke earlier than not. It doesn't have to be perfect, but the more you move towards that style of swimming, the more thrust and power you're going to get from every stroke. And using fins or a pull buoy on this is totally fine. So, fist with paddle gives you a little bit of feedback on the forearm surface area. Really trying to do the best vertical forearm or high elbow catch that you can. As you improve that, you'll feel this more and more. And like I was saying, that vertical forearm stuff really comes down to how well you're able to shrug your shoulder internally. The less you're able to shrug it, then the later in the stroke is when you'll get the vertical forearm, and you want it early as possible. All right, so dog paddle drill. So this is really a great isolation when you're trying to focus on the catch. As you improve the timing on it, you'll feel the workload more and more. So this also is a good specific strength development, because it's doing like a fairly tough move over and over. Yeah, all right, better timing here. You can bring the returning arm under your body. That makes it easier. That's called the recovery. But if you haven't done this in a while, that's fine.